lesson of Jung that a lot of people don't understand or miss is that if a certain behavior is categorized as a sin in every religion, then pay attention to that, right? A lot of people go, Cernovich, what's your position on religion? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I take the Jungian approach, which is that if a behavior is a sin in every major religion, then you should probably heed that. You should probably heed it, right? It's the difference between metaphysics and ethics. Metaphysics is the idea that, God is the prime mover, created the earth or whatever. You can divorce the metaphysics of a religion from the ethics. Ethics, of course, being the question of how do I live my life? And we see this illustrated perfectly with Bannon, Trump, Breitbart. By the way, we're doing like meta gossip. So people go, well, aren't you gossiping about gossip? That's a good point if you're not very smart and you're not a nuanced, sophisticated thinker. When you can contextualize life lessons using people as illustration, then it isn't gossip. Gossip is who's banging who's doing this, have you heard from so-and-so, right? Has nothing, I'm contextualizing what is going on here and just showing the perils and learning from other people. So what Bannon, I admire Bannon. Bannon's one of the only living people I admire. Bannon, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. There are only a few people on this planet Earth that I admire. So I'm not throwing shade, but I'm going to ask a question. What did Bannon gain by talking to a reporter about Don Jr. Don Sr.? Right, that's the question you always got to ask yourself if you want to live a life aligned with your habits and your vision. You have a life vision. Is what do you gain by gossiping about people to the media? What do you get out of this? What's the strategic objective that's achieved, right? Why do it? Don Jr. doesn't gossip about anybody. Have you ever heard Don Jr. say a bad thing about anybody? And if you think, Don Jr. doesn't have some issues with, some of the things, then you're wrong. So but it's a human thing. That's the whole reason it's a sin. If gossip weren't inherent to our human nature, then there would be no need to call it a sin, right? You notice that there's no religious edict, whether in Islam or Judaism or Christianity, there's no religion that says it is sinful behavior to love your family and friends, right? Because loving people and being good to people and living a good life isn't natural human behavior. Natural human behavior is being petty, mean-spirited, gossiping, letting your ego take over, focusing on trivialities and minor slights. Those are the sins. So there's no religion that says you shouldn't love your friends and family, you shouldn't be good to people. Because that is not human nature. Human nature is, have you heard this story about that guy? Right? How many people, don't need to raise your hands, but how many people here have told me gossip, and you know what my 3-word answer is? I don't care. I don't care. I've blocked numbers before. I've blocked phone numbers before because I would be told, do you know that so-and-so that you think like, I know that everybody gossips about me behind my back. I know that people I've promoted heavily and people that I built up, when I'm not around, are plotting ways to try to take me out. And they're plotting ways to take... I don't care, right? This is what I tell people. I know all of this. I don't care. Let people gossip. I don't care. I promote people and build people up because I think it's useful for the team and for the movement. But I know people I link to who work at the Daily Caller. I know what they say about me, right? I know what they say about me. I love that. Like, did you do it? Yes. And then I say, I don't care. And then if people message me it again, your number gets blocked. First time, 4 hours. Second time a day. Third time is a week. After that, block it forever. Because I know and I don't care. I get so much gossip about me every day. Most of it's fake. I just don't care. And The issue, this is destroy the New Right as a political movement, by the way. The New Right could have just been a massive, amazing thing. And then there was all these like little petty squabbles with each other and then other people and other little groups. And what's the strategic objective that you gain, right? I'm always thinking, how can I acquire more territory? Why would I have time to fight with people who are aligned with me that I disagree with, right? Why would I fight with people that I for the most part, agree with? To what? Carve up 10% of their little piece of territory, right? What would be the point of that? What would be the point of beefing with anybody on like the New Right? What am I going to get out of that? Maybe I skim, 15 followers from them, right? What is that? What does that get me? I'm thinking I need more territory. I don't need to fight over. And this is what's happening with the right wing, right? This is what's happening with the right wing, is that the New Right or whatever, people are fighting over some small ass piece of territory that doesn't mean anything, rather than trying to just grow the territory, grow the turf, expand out. Here's what I've always said. I'm not the guy to do this. All right. Mike Cernovich is not the guy to do this. But when I think about how people are just failing, why has there never been a liaison between the New Right and the Christian moms? What is the explanation? Because people are fighting each other. Gossiping. Who's banging who? Who's doing that? Who did that? Did you see that? Did you see what that guy said? Did you see what Nealon's tweeting? What about that? What blah, blah, blah. There are millions of Christian moms out there that would be, broadly speaking, aligned with a lot of the principles of the New Right, and there ain't no alliance there. And I'm not the guy for that alliance. I'm not the Christian mom guy. I'm not the liaison between the cultural ideas of the New Right and the activism of the New Right and the Christian moms. That ain't me. All right. Mike Cernovich has a lot of baggage. You go all in with Mike Cernovich, boy, you're going to be getting emails. People are going to call you. I am the mistress, not the wife. I am the guy behind the scenes. I am the guy, because if you stand with me, you are going to get heat. So I keep myself a distance. And then I'm like, why aren't other people stepping up? Right? I deliberately, I've made my fate, and I'm on a different character arc. If I'd have done things a little bit differently, I'd be in a different position. But you know what? We all make our choices, and then we have to live our lives based on the character arc that we're on, the story arc. So I'm not the guy to unite with the Christian moms, but why hasn't anybody else stepped up? Why aren't people stepping up? Because they're fighting with each other. Right? Bannon and Don Jr. don't need to be in any kind of beef. Don Jr. doesn't gossip anything. Don Jr. is not in petty little gossip beefs with people. Don Jr. is living the way you're supposed to live. Build your territory. Expand your own empire. Don't worry about everybody else's little empire. Oh, this guy's got that and that girl has that. And what do you got and how can you grow more without trying to go get in some dumb turf? You don't see Don Jr. at a turf war. Don Jr. definitely does not get the credit that he deserves because people don't understand how good he is at what he does. Do you know how hard it is to be attacked every day and to not lash out at people attacking you? For people to attack your family, for people to attack your loved ones, your friends, to call you horrible things, to fabricate you. He doesn't care, man. He's so above it all. And his influence and his name just keeps growing. He doesn't get involved in any of that crap. So how in the hell does anybody have time? Like I said, I like Bannon. How the hell does Bannon have time to talk about Don Jr.? The only thing you should say about Don Jr. is, great guy, young, still learning, but he's going to be big. That's all you have to say. Right? That's the only thing there is to say about Don Jr. American hero, really fighting hard for the people. The base loves him. Little raw. But he's going to be there. Going to be there, right? That's all there is to say. Just like Bannon. I don't have any gossip about Bannon. Bannon is a great fighter, but quit fighting your friends. Right? Don't get into fights with your friends. I don't fight with my friends. I don't gossip to the media about my friends. When I have something to say to my friends, I say it in a public periscope. Right? But I don't call people out by name. I just talk conceptually. And ask, why are things not happening that should be happening? Right? Why are things that should have happened by now not happening? right? That isn't me calling anybody out. That's just talking about ideas. Why isn't there a big new right Christian mom liaison? Why isn't there people on the new right that there are millions of Christian moms who totally would be down with our activism against the fake news media? Could you imagine if we had 3 million Christian moms with that Sam Cedar thing, or with the BuzzFeed racism stuff, or with the pedophile stuff on YouTube? Could you imagine if YouTube, they allow pedophile content? Could you imagine if we could have a march of the MAGA moms on YouTube to protest censorship of conservatives? My God, could you imagine that? That's how I think, right? That's how I think. You could have millions of MAGA moms protesting and having real impact, and people are fighting with each other, quibbling over bullshit, quibbling over a tiny ass little territory. So then I look, and that's why people like Cernovich, why aren't you doing activism? Cernovich, why aren't you doing the hashtag? Because, man, I'm tired of the drama. I'm tired of people texting me bullshit. Right? Bullshit that I don't care about. So for me, it's like, look, if that's what people want to be about, gossip and drama, I've just got to stay far away from it, because this isn't going to get me anywhere. This isn't going to get the movement anywhere. This isn't going to help have any impact on society. I can just hang out, work on my next book, throw my own parties, do my own thing. People don't read the books I tell them to read. How many people have read this book? This is required reading for everybody at Cernovich Media. So for Cernovich Media, I'm holding monthly sessions because I have to train my guys right. How many people know how to launch a product? Well, if you're launching a political movement, it's no different than launching a product. This is the guidebook. I've read this book probably 5 times. Paper-eared it, everything I do. If you read this book, look at this. If you read this book, everything that I do makes total sense. I follow Jeff Walker's launch playbook, but I apply it to political ideas and political movements, not just books or whatever. Right? How many people have read this? Oh, too busy. Who's banging who, and who's fighting today, and, so-and-so gotten such and such thing. Well, I don't know if you don't know how to launch a product, right? I live 100% off my ideas. People love to throw shade at me about the alimony and stuff, but go look at my Kickstarter. $200,000 I raised for a film. Right? How many people can say, how many filmmakers, especially who are newer filmmakers like me, can say they did a Kickstarter, $200,000 raised for your film, no media attention, no media coverage, $200,000 for my film, Hoax, which is going to be released this year. How many people can say they've ever would raise $200,000 Kickstarter film? No media coverage, no nothing, right? Why? Because I follow this playbook, the Jeff Walker playbook. I turn every launch into an event. A political idea has to be an event. You have to know how to create hype. You have to know how to create influence, interest, to get people excited about what you do, right? So how do you have time to fight with each other? How do you have time to fight with each other? How does Bannon have time to fight with Don Jr.? Breitbart is in financial dire straits. Breitbart lost all their advertisers, essentially. They're trying to take away their Google links, their Facebook links, their Twitter links. They're trying to take away their Amazon affiliate income. How does anybody at Breitbart have time to be involved in any gossip? How do you have time for that shit? Breitbart is in a sink, or they have to rely on Rebecca Mercer, one big donor. Right? How can you do that? How can you just rely on one big donor? So how does anybody at Breitbart have time for gossip? How does Bannon have time to talk or think about Don Jr.? All he should think about is, how can I get, Breitbart? We're in a bad position, man. We need to keep things popping. That's the only thing that matters. It's that way with so many people. So, here, look. Notes. It's a playbook. Weapons of mass influence. The mental triggers. So how do you get people to buy? How do you get people to buy everything I do? Authority. You have to establish yourself as an authority. Reciprocity. Trust. Anticipation. Another super powerful mental trigger is anticipation. This is one of the cornerstones of the product launch formula. Are you anticipating a night for freedom? A lot of people are like, Cernovich, what's happening there? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to keep it vague. Why? Because that makes you more excited. Anticipation. If I told you everything that was going to happen, you wouldn't anticipate because you would think, oh, I know what's going to happen. You just got to give people a little bit, and it drives people crazy. Like, tell me I need to know the whole detail. No, you don't. I'm not going to tell you the whole details. Buy or don't buy. Show up or don't show up. And then people are like, oh, I wonder what's going to be. I don't know. You don't know what to expect. That's the way it's going to be. Likability. When you're seen being gracious, kind, and generous, people like you more. Seems obvious. So much of this book and the psychology of it is obvious. When you were seen being gracious, kind, generous, and honest, people will like you more. Who does charity drives? Mike Cernovich. How many people in the new right or the old right did a Toys for Tot charity drive other than Mike Cernovich? Other than Mike Cernovich, who did a GoFundMe and said, I'll match donations and I'll give money for Christmas to people? Right? Why not? People can't go volunteer at a soup kitchen. People can't do a toy drive. People can't go collect winter coats. No, they're too busy quibbling, fighting over nothing. Fighting over bullshit. Why didn't Breitbart do a winter coat drive, canned food drive, charity drive? Too busy fighting over nothing. But if you're doing good deeds, take a lesson from the Hells Angels. People can go, oh, Cernovich, you're just doing it for whatever. You don't know my motivations. Go talk to God. Go talk to God if you think you know so much about what's in my heart. But the point is that if you're being attacked and the media is painting you one way, well, then you better go err the other way. You better go err the other way. The Hells Angels does a toy drive. The Hells Angels has a better brand than the alt-right. Think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute. If you did a test on people, what's your view on the following brands? And you said, what's your view on the Hells Angel? And then what's your view on the alt-right? People have a higher view of the Hells Angels than they would the alt-right. Do people not think? What are people do? Because they're gossiping. This is what I do all day when I walk around and I talk to Syra and I'm just thinking about things that matter. And I go, most people have a better view of the Hells Angels than a Breitbart. So if you're Breitbart, you need to be like, what? Yeah, this is true. If you're Breitbart, you need to say, yeah, the average person has a higher view of a professional organization, the Hells Angels, than they do a Breitbart. Fuck, this is a problem. What are we going to do about it? That's the way I think. I know a lot of people had a bad perception of me. So what did I do? A lot of people, so what do? I just show so much of me that you realize whatever you read about me isn't true. I fight the written word with the visual and the spoken word. So you can read articles about me, Cernovich is a monster, Cernovich is this, but then you see me, you can't be in my life and believe any of that stuff you read about me. That's why the media doesn't understand why their hit pieces fail. Because I'm an authentic person. I'm a genuine person. I'm a ranter, though. A lot of times I say things that are satirical that make sense in context but don't make sense. So for me, the more they attack me, the more I just come out in public. I don't hide. Right? Breitbart, they should have a Breitbart meeting every morning. Live on Periscope. Instead of being some dull brand where the media can control the written word better than you can. The visual, though, is always more persuasive than the written word. So people will read things about me and they go, wait a minute, that can't be true. I watch his videos. I listen to his podcasts. I've met him at events. That can't be true. Whatever, So nobody believes what they read about me because you believe what you see. That's a human thing. So why isn't everybody just front-facing? Why aren't people doing toy drives? Why aren't people doing charity drives? Why aren't people collecting canned goods and winter coats? Because I don't know why, man. I don't know why. That's why I only do my own thing. That's why I only do my own thing, because when I look around what other people are doing and I see what they're talking about in the gossip and the DMs I'm getting and the messages and everything like that, I'm like, how do you have time for this shit? I don't have time for that. So the visual is always going to defeat the written. So for me, the media, they can write whatever they want to write. All you have to do is watch one of my 1,000 videos, and then you know that that's not true. And you know that's not true. I have here 2 scoops of whey protein. 2 scoops whey protein. And iced coffee. Another thing that's very frustrating to see is these little turf wars with people that don't matter. Right? Here is, in my view, what should have woken a lot of people up. If I had a moment in 2017 that led to a bigger epiphany than any other moment, I'll tell you this story. Maybe it won't be significant to you, but it was significant to me. So there was definitely, I have 2 scoops journalism, 2 scoops whey protein. So there was a rally called there was going to be a right-wing rally, and the organizers conned some of the new right people into speaking. And they tried to con me into speaking. And I go, are you kidding me? I know what's going to happen. I know you guys are getting conned. But nobody believes Mike Cernovich. They all know better than Mike Cernovich. I warn people, and they know everybody knows better than Mike Cernovich. I said, look, don't go to that rally. They're going to con you. So they agreed to be in the rally. And then after they all agreed to it and promoted it, headliner, Richard Spencer. And then everybody's like, oh my God, I didn't know I was going to speak at a rally with Richard. Oh, you didn't know because Mike Cernovich didn't tell you that was the setup? Right? You didn't see the con? Mike Cernovich never told you, don't do it because you're going to be conned? Never told you that. Right? Never told anybody you're going to be conned. Then everybody's freaking out, oh my God, I don't want to speak in an event with Richard Spencer. So then they held their own rally. And then there was a little competition. Who had the bigger rally? The alt-right or the new right? Little competition, right? Then I went and covered the rally and everything. And there was, there's some dispute, but 150 to 200, right? So the alt-right either had 200 and the new right had 150, or the alt-right had 150 and the new right had 200, whatever. And then I went to the Trump D.C. hotel afterwards. And when I went there, one of the women, Virginia housewives for Donald Trump, said, oh, hey, good to meet you, Mike. Oh, yeah, we just had a book signing. 500 people showed up. And it was like an unintentional mic drop. So all these male egos fighting, oh, the alt-right, we had 200, the new right's dead, they only had 150, or, oh, they only had 75, we had 150. Oh, the Virginia housewives for Trump just had some casual get-together, 500 people showed up. There was no media coverage for it, no press, no promotion. They were just like, oh yeah, we're just going to have a book signing with Cheryl Atkinson, and, isn't that great? Just 500 show up like nothing. And I thought all these boys fighting over who has the rallies, right? What? Oh, maybe you had 25 people more, maybe. The tiny-ass rallies. Combined, the Virginia women for Trump had more people than both rallies combined. That should have been a wake-up call for people. Because I'll tell you how I see the world and why my view of the world makes sense. The only way that I measure the world and measure impact and measure relevance, asses and seats. There's only 3 words that I live by. Asses and seats. You think you're hot shit? Good, hold an event. How many tickets can you sell? Oh, well, but Oh, you think you deserve to be the top of the headliner? Great. Tell people you're going to be at the event. How many tickets you're going to sell? How many people will take out their money, their hard-earned money, and pay to show up to an event you host? That's all that matters. Asses and seats. That's the only thing that I live by. You're either selling or you're not selling. You're either getting people to show up or you're not. All this other, blah, 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 influence, none of that matters. How many tickets can you sell? How many people are going to show up? That's how I live my life. Book sales. That's what people go, oh, you're obsessed with book sales. You're right. You're right. I'm obsessed with book sales. Why? Because that's how you actually measure. That's how you measure real impact, real influence. If people don't want to spend $9.99 on a book, people don't want to spend $9.99 on a book, the price of a latte and a donut at Starbucks. If your words and your message isn't worth the price of a latte and a couple donuts, then you don't have any juice, man. You got no influence. You got nothing. It's all a myth, right? If you can't convert, doesn't mean nothing. It means empty, or you're attracting a bad audience. That's people go, yeah, I care about ticket sales. Not because I'm not going to make any money off a Night for Freedom. I'm not making any money off of this event. People go, why do you do it then? Shauna wants to know more than anybody, believe me, because I'm good at making money. And I waste a lot of my time on this stuff. And I go, because that tells me where we're at as a movement. If I hold an event, minimum ticket price is $99, that tells me where we're at in a movement. If we can't sell 100 tickets, which, by the way, we sold more than 100 tickets, obviously. We sold more than 100 tickets on the first day. But if I hold an event in New York and I can't sell 100 tickets, then I just got to quit. Might as well just leave. Right? Can't sell 100 tickets for a once or twice a year event. I can't sell 100 tickets. Just quit the game, man. Go do something else. Go get a minimum wage job. That'll, pay better than that. I'll make more money. Make more money as, whatever. I don't want to denigrate anybody's work, so I'm going to be careful how I say that, but so I respect all work, grew up working class, and I've done all the jobs, believe me. But that's the way I think about things are, if I can't get 100 people, sell 100 tickets, then what the hell am I doing with my time? If I can't do a Kickstarter and raise 6 figures on a film, what the hell am I doing with my time? If I can't launch a book and sell, 10,000 copies in a month or two, what the hell am I doing with my time? Right? What's the point? Right? Because it means you don't matter. It means you're just cheap entertainment. You're just a nut, like they're clicking the channel and you're just a mindless distraction. You're not a thought leader. What do you think? What do you think? It's the reality. And by the way, the media, they try to attack me, but why can you not attack me? Look at the genuine affection Julius has for me, my dog. Right? You can't fake this. You can't fake this authenticity. You can't fake what a genuinely nice person I am. Right? That's why the media tries to go, Cernovich is a monster. And people are like, well, you can't fake this. I'm just here hanging out with my dog. Not like he wants to come hang out with me. You can't fake the genuineness and authenticity that I have. And that's why the media goes, because people go, why do you have your dog in appearance? Because he likes to hang out with me, for one. But that is the importance of visuals. Right? That's why visuals are so important. They can write whatever they want to write about me, but I overpower it with the visuals. Visuals always, what do you think? Visuals are always going to overpower empty written word. So I need to see better visuals from people. I need to see people doing charity drives. I need to see people doing winter coat drives. I need to see people stepping up and trying to make the world a better place rather than the right-wing people virtue signal too. I want a MAGA. Okay. How are you going to MAGA? Oh, tweeting all day. Well, okay. That's great. But there's nothing else you can do the MAGA. Right? How about you sign off of Twitter and, do some good deeds for charity? Right? So virtue signaling is not unique to the left. Virtue signaling is a human thing, left and right, which is that you just want people to think you're a good person. But when it comes to living a good life, which is hard, a lot harder to live a good life than to pretend to online. It's hard, you know. And I'm not seeing enough of that. And, again, that's why I don't do the hashtag organizing everything. And just other people I wanted to step up. I built up a lot of people. I don't get thanked, by the way. You know, that's another thing. I don't feel sorry for myself because I don't take things personally. But if you think that the people I build up thank me rather than just, either plot against me or try to just get more retweets out of me, that's just not human nature. But you can't take things personally. You just have to realize people are people, man. People are people. Yeah, that's just the way it is. And you have to realize, though, that the people you build up, if they're going to make the world a better place, then that's what really matters. Your own ego, you got to set aside. You have to be fulfilled, fully integrated, which takes a lot of time. I definitely wasn't there. Definitely wasn't there. Julius is a mini Aussie doodle. And he is the sweetest dog I've ever had. I've even told you, I've had dogs my whole life. I've said, we will never in your life have another dog like Julius. He doesn't scream. When he has to go out, he just kind of sits by the door. He's just the sweetest dog in the world. And I've had dogs my whole life. And I will never have another dog like this. It was just a unique point in time. And he really is the sweetest dog. He is such a good dog. Mini Aussie Doodle. Part Poodle, part Australian Shepherd. So he doesn't shed. You don't shed, do you? You don't shed. So he doesn't shed at all. He's like a year and a half. Yeah, he's like a year and a half. And then we go hiking, and he's a year and a half old. No, we bought him, and he costed a lot. You should adopt. Do as I say, not as I do. But we were about to have Cyrus, so we got Julius right before we had Cyrus. Uh-oh, Mom's here. Yeah, so we got Julius because we wanted Cyrus to grow up with the dog, so they're growing up together, and so we didn't want to, get a rescue, or we wanted to go with a breeder that we knew about and had experience with. But yeah, you should definitely, if you can. Uh-oh. You might get a rare Cyrus cameo. What are you doing?
Dad? Where's Daddy?
What are you doing? Do you want to come say hi for a minute?
Where's Daddy? She might be sleepy. It's time for a nap.
Oh, do you want to go on the hike, or should we just put her...
I was just going to put her down for a nap.
Okay. Oh, there she is. There she is. You ready for a nap? Okay. Go take your nap.
Okay, Trigger.
It's nap time for her.
Oh, I don't have her yet.
I know. They're going to drop her.
Yeah, I know. Come here, baby.
She's ready for a nap, guys. That's okay.
Jules, are you going to be in or out? You got to close the door. Are you with Dad?
Yeah, Aussies are they're a high energy dog. So, oh man. So Julius is super hyper. You have to walk him 5 miles, on a good day, 3 days on a bad, or 3 miles on a bad day. But yeah, Julius needs 3 to 5 miles a day, and he can go for 10. Just like they are hypoallergenic. They are hypoallergenic. Hypoallergenic. All right, everyone. Just remember, even if you're not a religious person, if certain behavior is sinful in every religion, then you should heed that advice. So gossip is a sin in every religion. The Proverbs talk about it. It doesn't matter what religion you are. Gossip is a major sin So don't get caught up in the gossip. If you're gossiping, it's human. It's human. We all do it a few minutes a day. But if you do it, 5 minutes a day, fine. But if you're gossiping and you're talking, you have to ask yourself, how is this bringing me closer to my vision? What is this doing for me? How is this getting me? And that's the problem too. Most people don't have a life vision. Exactly. Jews have a name for it. Everybody's got a thing for it. You don't gossip. And a lot of people fall in the pitfall. So you got to have a life vision for yourself, which is the biggest problem. Most people, you can't align your habits and how you spend your time with your life vision if you don't have a life vision. So you have to have both. So for me, and I've said this, go watch my old Periscopes. What did I tell people? 4 words I live by. I did a podcast on it. What did I tell people I wanted to become? Well, pop quiz. We'll see if you've been paying attention. If you're new, you get a pass. But if you've been around for a while and you can't say this, then you've failed the reading comprehension test. 4 words that I live by. And then you can ask if this has become true. So I said in 2015, I said I wanted to become too big to ignore. Right? That's what I said. 2,000 people go, what are you trying to do? I said, I'm going to become too big to ignore. And people go, what does that mean? Blah, blah, blah. And then you always have like the nitpickers who, like, you tell them your vision and then they want to like argue with your vision. Well, that's not a real goal. What do you mean too big to ignore? How is that a goal? A goal? Shut up. Worry about your own goals. Quit nitpicking everybody else's goals. Right? I was thinking about this the other day where are you the brakes or are you the gas? Because most of the people, 9 out of 10 people, you tell them your dreams, they're going to tell you why you can't do it. Well, why? Or they'll tell you why should you want to do it. Right? When's the last time you told somebody, here's what I want to do, and they said, that's great, man, hope you do it. How can I help? How can I help? When's the last time you just said, look, here's what I do with my life, and they go, that's amazing. How can I help? No. They're going to tell, well, why would you want to do that? That's been tried before. Nobody can do it. That's a bad, right? 9 out of 10 people are the gas, are the brakes. 9 out of 10 people are here to tell you why you can't accomplish something. They're not here to say, well, that's awesome. How can I help? Or God bless you, or good luck, or whatever, right? It's like human nature. People, well, you can't do that. That's not going to work. So when I told people I want to be too big to ignore, they go, what do you want? I want to be too big to ignore. Well, that's not really a goal. You need to have a more... Don't tell the guy who wrote Gorilla Mindset about how to set goals. Pro tip, right? Pro tip. Billionaires read my book. Everybody from housewives to college kids to teenagers to billionaires to entrepreneurs. Everybody. So, just don't tell me. But I like how rather than just say, well, that's cool, dude. Like, that's a great way to, like, live your mind. That's a mindset. No, well, what does that mean? That's just the way people are. They want to tell you why you can't do something. They want to tell you why you're crazy. That's why people go, oh, Cernovich, you're crazy. Big goals are indistinguishable from madness. Big life vision is indistinguishable from magic. A unique life as I lived is indistinguishable from fiction. I've never told the stuff that I've done because nobody believe it. Nobody believe it. Because when you've lived life on your own terms, it sounds like fiction. People go, oh, that didn't happen. Get out of here. So why even, right? So of course people think I'm crazy. I mean, what sane person would say that a congressman's going to resign because of his reporting? Right? Imagine I told you in 2017, this time last year, if I said by the end of this year, a congressman is going to resign because of me. Would you have called that crazy? Seriously. It's okay. I'm not going to be offended. Just imagine, though, January 4th, 2017, I said, hey, by the end of the year, a member of Congress will resign because of me. You'd have said, get out of it. Come on, bro. Get out of here. That's insane. That would sound loony, right? Be real. I'm okay with it. You're not going to hurt my feelings, but, we want to be honest here. And if I had said that, if I'd have said, oh, yeah, by the end of this year, Congressman's going to resign because of me, people would be like, oh, yeah, this is, what a lunatic. That's just Cernovich. His ego's out of control. That's just him. It's like, well, ask John Conyers, right? Ask John Conyers. How that worked out. So that's the whole point. Is when you dream big, you're going to sound crazy. That's how the rest of the world, nobody's taught them how to think big. Nobody, and moreover, when you do think big, people ridicule you and mock you. When you do think big, people tell you why you shouldn't think. Think small. Think small like everybody else. It's reality. So if you dream big, people are going to tell you you're insane. But for me personally, I want people to think I'm insane. Because the day people think that I'm sane is the day that I'm thinking small. Like our man Donald Trump says. This is true. If you're going to be thinking at all, why not think big? Because here's what I've learned. What am I, 40? 40 years old. I've made a few million. I'm not going to, tell you how much. But let's just say that I've made millions. And what I've learned from selling books to selling anything is making a big sale takes as much effort as making a small sale. Selling a $500 ticket takes as much effort as selling a $9.99 ebook. Now, if you've never been in sales, you would say, well, that's insane. That's crazy. I would have said that too. 10 years ago, I'd be like, well, that's insane. No. Selling a $500 ticket to an event in New York takes as much effort or as little effort as selling a book for less than $10. That's what you learn. It's the same effort, same process, same script you have to follow, same model. And that's the way everything is with. So that's the best thing Trump ever said is if you're going to be thinking, and you're going to be thinking anyway, you might as well think big. I mean, if that's the only thing you learn from Trump or me or anybody, is you're going to think, right? Unless you're just a dummy. So why think small? Why think about your next promotion, right? Why not think about owning your own company, right? Why think about, well, how could I, get a raise? How can I get a 3% raise this year? Now, that's great. You got to make your raise. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say don't. But most people only think, well, how can I get a 3% raise this year, right? So you're already thinking about money and how to make more money. So why don't you think, how do I get a 300% raise? Right? Because you're already thinking, how can I get more money? You're already thinking, how can I rise up the ranks? So rather than just focus only on, well, how can I get a 3% raise this year and get a good performance review? Why don't you think, well, how do I get a 300% raise? How do I make 3,000% this year, right? Because you're thinking about it anyway. But no, mindset has never been taught to people. That's why I'm patient with people a little bit of patience. Because nobody ever sat you down when you were a kid and said, hey, kid, what do you want to do with your life? And you said, I want to be a fireman. I'm like, well, that's great. You want to be rather than say, oh, what do you want to do, kid? Kid goes, I want to be, fireman. And you say, well, that's great. That's a great goal. Great, aspiration. Have you ever thought about being fire chief? Have you ever thought about starting a new fire department in a foreign country? Right? Maybe you want to invent a new firefighting technique, right? Nobody thinks like that. They think, oh, you want to do a conventional thing, and that's cool. By the way, being a firefighter is a great job. So don't even be trying to get offended, Because being a firefighter is a great gig, and they're great people. That said, though, if you want to think more and you want to think bigger, then how do you become fire chief? Right? How do you create a new method? It's just the way to think. And the answer is that because me, I wouldn't want to be the fire chief because it's administrative, right? Me, I'd rather be a firefighter than a fire chief. But the thing is, you do want to engage in the thought process because then you know what you want. Like me, I don't want to be the CEO of a large company. So when I think big, I don't think in terms of how can I build a big company. Because then I have to manage people. People are giving me heart attacks all the time. People are, fighting with each other and gossiping. And, it's just too much for me. It doesn't suit me. So when I think big, I think about my own individual impact on the world. I don't think in terms of, well, how can I be, CEO? But maybe you do, though. But I do think big in my own ways. That's the thing you have to understand. Thinking big doesn't mean you have to have somebody else's own definition of big. You know what thinking big for me is? When I wake up, I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. For me, that's thinking big. Because I measure bigness in terms of personal freedom. I measure bigness in terms of options. I measure big, in a different metric. So Trump measures big as in he's on top of a building. Me, that would be hell. To be Donald Trump would be terrible for me. I would be miserable. Having people bothering you all the time and contractors ripping you off and you got to fight with contractors all day and employees and sexual harassment lawsuits. For me, being a Donald Trump would be terrible. For me, being president would be terrible. For me, going to Congress would be terrible. So for me, big doesn't mean billions of dollars. For me, big doesn't mean CEO of a company. For me, big just means that I have the freedom to do what I want to do. Big freedom. So nobody says, well, what are your values? Right? What are your values? What do you want to do? And then how do you align your values, your habits, with your visions, with your definitions of the world? It's a whole process. And by the way, you're always reassessing. You're always reassessing these things as you go along. That's the way you got to think, though. But you have to think big, how you define big. And I define big as I can reach millions of people from here. This is how I define big. People, I remember like the Vice people came over HBO like, oh, so this is your office. So the traditional media people either have one of two reactions. One is like, you call yourself a media guy. Or they're like, wow, you do all this from here? It's always one or the others, right? And I always laugh at the people. I'm like, well, yeah, you have a whole crew. And I've said this to many of them. They go, oh, this is it? I'm like, yeah, you got a whole crew, whole budget. I'm bigger than you. Right? My Twitter gets more impressions than your entire media company's impressions, right? I got more impact than a whole media network. And they don't like that. They get real offended real quick. Because to me, I just define big as if I want to get on and have a conversation with people, I can. And if I don't, I don't. It's the whole thing. So define big however you want to define it. I'm going to get going. Thanks for watching. Go to anightforfreedom.com. That is my next big event. anightforfreedom.com is happening January 20th in New York. anightforfreedom.com. Big lineup, lots of guest speakers. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to want to be there. You're not going to want to miss out. Because it's going to be so great that you're going to have FOMO. Big time FOMO.